All right. So announcement-wise, really, no meeting in May because of graduation, finals. So, but we are going to have one in June, though. Okay, second Tuesday in June, we'll have a meeting. So we need to discuss topics for June. I'll have Daniel lead that here in a second. And presentations tonight are going to be Mac OS upgrade and Mac 101 tips and tricks. Those two presentations are going to be tonight. And so I know I talked to you earlier. You're going to just kind of give your, plus and minuses, things that went positively, things you had issues with. Because I know you said you upgraded your friend's Mac OS X successfully, but there was another upgrade that did not go so well.
Yeah,
But it wasn't on a Mac machine, right? It was on
it's on my PC.
on your PC, yeah. And so he'll talk about that and kind of just discuss issues he's had. That'd be good. I'd love to hear that. And then Mac 101 tips you're going to share with us tonight, right? What we might do on that. This will be recorded for both presentations. And so any type of references to URLs or references to places you found on the web, as you're kind of going through it, I might write those up here on the board for you possibly.
Yeah, I was going to try to have a handout with all the links, but I didn't get time.
Well, you can actually, we have our web person here, so after the meeting, you can send that to myself and I can forward it so we can put that on the web. That's one of the things I was wanting to talk to you last night about doing. So yeah, we can do that. We can just post on the web with podcasts a link to URLs.
Okay.
That sound good?
Because right now I have a bunch of bookmarks. I'm just going to go through
Yep.
each of the bookmarks and then some
That'll
of
work.
the built-in stuff in system preferences.
Yep, that'll work. Work great. Okay, and so.
I'll also ask for other input on things people maybe do that I don't know about.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so Daniel, you want to drive this real quick?
Yeah. All right. So just a quick update on the club thing. I didn't hear anything, so I talked to them, and they said they are processing. I have no idea what that means.
Okay.
So just waiting to hear back from them on that.
Okay.
But that's student life's problem right now, not ours. So.
Okay. Yeah. I know.
Anyway, topics for June 11th apparently.
Okay, June 11th.
I had a question for Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
When I was in high school, we used the FatPack. I've got some programs I wrote on there. Then my friend told me there's a software called Sheep Shaver. You can implement the FatPack. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Sheep server?
Sheep Shaver.
Sheep shaver.
Yeah.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah. I was just wondering if there. I'd love to see the programs. I can't print it on my Mac now. Obviously.
Yeah, right.
I was just. It was just something to throw out that we don't have to do it.
An old school program for Mac?
Well,
Or is it
if
Windows?
there's a way I can emulate the FatMac on my.
That'd be something to look into, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not against that,
So emulating.
Emulating the old Macs on Linux.
So, emulate, you're talking about like, Mac OS 3 and 4, really old school Mac? Yeah, I know they have emulators out there. That's actually a pretty good topic, actually. And there's emulators I have seen that you can run, even like within virtual PC and stuff like that. So if you want to do that, I think it's a great
I
topic.
didn't want to throw myself out there, be the one that does it. I was just throwing it out there as a topic.
Well, I think it'd be a good one, actually, just to find out what you find out, on emulation, personally.
I think it's a great thing. I'm sure there's multiple ones out there. I'm sure
Mhm.
there's the best one. I think it'd be really cool to have a
Yeah.
simulation here,
Yeah.
just so we could see.
All right, I'll try to be here for June 11th. If I can't be, I'll let you know.
Okay, all right, great. Well, if nothing else, even if you couldn't be here, we could, bring your dates, give us your data.
Okay.
We could present that, that'd be good. Cool.
So that's one topic. Do we have any other topics off the top of people's heads?
When do Macs normally come out with their new hardware? Is it like beginning of the year, end of the year, summer?
And I think when they have like Mac World in summer months, they come up with all the new It's usually in June sometime, June or July. We come up with hardware that's coming up, so, yeah, usually around June, we find out new hardware coming out, so maybe like, so new hardware, is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe there's some new Mac coming out or something like that, or.
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah, some new hardware maybe? New device.
Suggestion.
Yeah.
Would we like to just do a brief history of where, I mean, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the history of Macintosh.
That'd
Just
be
kind
good.
of, I mean, I remember when I went to your Tuesday lecture.
Right.
And you kind of talked about where PCs came from.
Yeah,
Just
that'd
like,
be good.
Whoa. So I think
History of the Mac?
history of the Mac.
Sweet. Yeah, I like that.
So history of the Mac / new
Past, present, future.
past, present, and future of Mac.
There you go. You wanna do that? You know, it's coming from a non-Mac person, that might actually be kinda interesting.
Yeah?
Especially, you know, might as well. Alright, you find out a lot about it.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool videos out there. Steve Jobs in a jeans and a t-shirt, in some dusty old, computer shop, talking about 10 people smoking cigarettes.
Have you seen that Lost interview they have up on Netflix?
No, I don't think so.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I watched like the first half of it,
Uh-huh.
but it was really cool. He was talking about some of the things he did.
Okay, so
I
we have-
don't think we go into that. But
We have the emulator, you're gonna do, give us the data for that, you're gonna give us the data for the second one, right?
I should probably tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I heard downloading the ROMs is illegal, even though, I mean, it's been out of use for 20 years or whatever, but I heard there's an issue there, so I'm not want to be a little bit careful. I mean,
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Any issues with it?
no, I mean, I heard Apple had issues with it, downloading ROMs for the old Mac and stuff. That you can get them, but I heard you're not supposed to, or something, so.
Well, just in your research, just tell us if you come across something like that, let us know. Yeah, find out what, everything truthful, you find out about it. Legal stuff they like and non-legal stuff, I guess, or non-stuff they don't want. That's fine. Okay, cool, those are good ideas then. Emulating old and new, or old Mac OSs, and then past, present, and future of the Mac. Okay, Mac OS upgrade discussion on that. So you want to come up here real quick, if you don't
I
mind?
actually just finished installing one of them.
I was able to get it running on this virtual box, which I have here. The way I started out doing that was I got Oracle. I went to new, and I just typed in Mac. You can name this whatever you like. So we're just going to do Mac OS new. Click next. I just did what they recommended, which was right there. Create the virtual disk image. Just did a dynamic allocated. And when I was downloading some other things, I noticed that I needed more hard drive space, so I ramped it up on that, but just for the demonstration purpose, I'm just going to leave it at 22. Click Create. Okay, now there's a couple settings that Mac doesn't like for the virtual settings. So you have to go into your settings, system, I think everything, oh, this enable EFI, I don't know what that is, but for some reason you have to turn that off for Mac. Display, I also discovered if you didn't have this all the way up, you would crash during the install. Storage, it doesn't like the SATA, so I had to remove it from there and then reconnect the IDE controller. And you choose an existing disk and you go to where you have it installed. Which one do we do? Mac OS new. So you're reconnecting the hard drive that you had just created. So I'm just removing that one. Okay, so now you need to be able to boot into Mac environment, I guess is what it is. Choose a disk. I had this. I don't know exactly what this does, but it allows me to be able to boot and see so the ISO is able to be seen by this virtual environment. So I have to boot this up. This mode. I think those are all the settings that we needed to get this started. Yeah, that was good. So then you'll start. Okay, so now we got it booted to this part right here. Now we need to, essentially the ISO, we need to insert it like if it's a disk. So to do that, we go up to devices, the CDs here, choose virtual CD disk, and here's where I have my Mac OS X ISO. You open that. Once you get that open, you can click in the screen now, and you can you press F5 to refresh it. See how it changed right down here from iBoot to Mac OS install DVD. You can also type in certain commands in here. Enable graphics. I found I have to turn the graphics off, otherwise it will not install for me. So that's just how you do that. And when you're ready to install, you press enter. And this takes some time.
Takes some time.
So, but you just kind of, it's pretty easy to step through right after this, just clicking next. It's pretty obvious what you select there.
So installing a Mac OS, and what was you used to install it with? VirtualBox?
Yeah, VirtualBox
Okay.
or Oracle.
All right, gotcha.
Okay.
Cool. And pretty cool.
The problem I ran into is once you updated to the there's an upgrade to Snow Leopard to allow you to get to the Apple Store, so you can actually purchase the Snow Leopard, or not Snow Leopard, so you can actually purchase Mountain Lion. You actually have to do this update. But once I do it on this machine, I can't move my mouse no more, and I'm not fluent enough with the shortcuts in there to maneuver around. But I'll boot up into the one that I was able to get. This one is actually updated. You probably all say it runs better on Mac, right?
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I wonder if I have two of them running or something. That would be a problem, because I told it to use pretty much most of the memory. Oh, I do.
Well, what might be helpful, I know you went through this pretty quick, and what you might do is if you could create like a step-by-step
Yep.
what you did, and we'll put that up on the website as well, along with a video here. I recorded what you did. That'd be
Okay.
cool. Okay, looks like you're going into the screen,
Yep.
the OS screen. So now, were you able to find these steps online, or did you just figure it out?
There was a lot of steps online, especially the whole setup process.
Right.
For the VirtualBox, like the EFI, I don't know. I would have never figured out to disable that.
Right.
And yeah,
Sorry, I was just wondering, could you run Xcode then and do your projects on here? On the virtual
I would.
You run it
Think
just like
it's just-
a native Mac
Yeah,
OS, right?
it's just like a native Mac OS. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, that was fine.
So yeah, it might not actually boot up because of I had the other one open too.
Oh,
so.
okay. That's fine.
But yeah, once we got, so I ended up just said forget it, and I I went over to my friend's house yesterday actually, and that's the reason why the whole reason why I wasn't able to get a presentation set up for you guys is because me and my friend had to meet up so that way I could actually get with a Mac and try to update it on there. And he said so far he was successful. He got the League of Legends up and running today, and said he got the better frame rate and stuff like that. So
Cool.
that was the whole purpose of us
Yeah.
wanting to do this upgrade.
All right. Let's give him a hand. That's a good job. Excellent.
All right, so some of what I was looking at when we talked about having this as a topic originally, I wanted to try to get an idea of how to navigate through the Mac system in general. Because I'm used to Control-C to copy and things like that from the PC environment. So I have some different URLs that I bookmarked that have just some of the basic commands depending on what it is you're trying to do. You can obviously see there's a large list of different keyboard shortcuts. I was at a loss of words. For the longest time, I kept finding bookmarks or pages that had this symbol, but I didn't know what that symbol even was on my keyboard. So I finally found out it was the option on this bookmark. But this link's just a nice, handy place to go to see some of the different things you can do as far as different keyboard shortcuts. A lot of them, you know, like they're labeled like as far as these are your menu symbols here. Then over here on Finder, you know, these are all action items that you can do with it. Depending on what screen you're in, depends on what action is going to take place. There's some of the same key events that do different things based on what screen you're in. Like here you see in Finder, you know, like Command Up goes to, Command and the up arrow goes to the parent folder in Finder. But if you're in a line of text, Command Up actually takes you to the top level of the text. So if you have a paragraph, it would take you all the way to the top of the paragraph. Command Down would take you all the way to the bottom of the paragraph if you're in a paragraph. So different commands like this do different things based on the environment in which you're using that action. This URL here has tons and tons of these different shortcuts. Everything from the dock, how you can hide your dock in applications, moving the dock around, forcing files to open in specific apps. You know, the list goes on and on for there. Here's where you get into the working with text. Like I said, you know, if you have command and right arrow or left arrow, that's how you can go to your end of line or beginning of line, but then when you move up and down, it goes to the end of the text or the beginning of the text. Things like that. So it depends on what environment you're working on as far as what kind of shortcut you might want to use. There's other lists within this that you can go to, like this one here is just another similar list where they have other keyboard shortcuts that do a lot of the same things. It's just I found multiple different URLs, so I figured this would give people a chance to maybe print off the list that they like the best, maybe what's condensed in the way they want to see it, and then they can hang it up in their workplace and have a reference for the different shortcuts. Then when you get out of some of the actual keyboard shortcuts, I was looking through system preferences when I first got this computer about a month ago, and if you go into your trackpad, you can see right now up here on the top of the screen, the link that's highlighted is for swipe between pages, and then it shows the animation on the right side of the screen, and it gives a display tip there that says scroll left or right with 2 fingers. So obviously if I had, you know, a browser open, I could go ahead and do something like that, and you'd see the same result that you see over here in the picture. And then as you highlight these other links, then it changes the actual action that you see on the right side of the screen. And I started playing around with this a little bit, and then Brandon was actually helpful and pointed out a couple other shortcut things that I was unaware of. But for instance, this one here where you can go into your mission control, where you swipe up with 4 fingers. When I go into this, notice I have desktop 1 and desktop 2. Well, let's just pretend desktop 2 wasn't there. See this little plus sign that pops up when I move over towards the top right corner? When I click on that, I actually get a second desktop to drop in. So now if I go to that desktop, it's completely empty. If I want to open up, say, Xcode here, now I could have an Xcode project on this screen. Now one of the other swipes is when you take 4 fingers and swipe to the left, which actually is, let's see, up with 4 fingers, down. Oh, it's the scroll and zoom, I believe. No, this isn't it. More, I thought it was in the more gestures. Yeah, okay, here we are. Swipe between full screen apps. So this is the gesture motion that I'm going to actually do to go from this desktop, which is desktop 1, over to that other desktop that has my Xcode on it. So I'll swipe real quick to the left. There's my second desktop, so now I have my work environment. If I want to swipe back over to my first desktop, this is where I can have a browser open, where I'm searching for code snippets to help me with my aid me with my programming. This all compliments of Brandon once again. Thank you, Brandon, for that. So you can definitely go into your system preferences and click on trackpad, and you can just arrow through all these different gesture motions. You know, like here, to get to your launch pad, if you want to, it's just a pinch with your thumb and 3 fingers. So then it gets you right into your launch pad. You can see where your applications are. You can click on your application right away. As you see how your applications all pull up. So there's just numerous gestures that you can have, and there's actually ways where you can set up your own custom gestures, but I didn't get a chance to actually do that yet tonight. But you can actually set up some of your own custom gestures so you can have it navigate however you would like, you know, to have it go. And this works obviously with any of the trackpads that are on the MacBooks. It works with the wireless trackpads, and then I believe it works with the Magic Mouse too, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have one of those. But it takes a little bit of getting used to when you're first doing it, but a lot of these gestures are nice to know. And then when you get into your actual point and click environment, then you have obviously tapping with 1 finger. It's just like you're selecting something. If you want to use 2 fingers, this actually opens up. You can see it's a tiny little menu, but that's how you can actually access like your cut, copy, and paste. It's like a right click in the PC environment. And that's kind of handy because I didn't know how to do it when I first got my Mac. I'm like, well, how do I right click? I'm trying to hit the right side of the trackpad, and I'm like, this isn't working. It's just doing a singular click. So for myself, being new to Mac environment, this I thought would be maybe helpful for some others that aren't so familiar with some of the different shortcuts and gestures that you can do to save yourself some time and become more efficient with your job.
And so you'll get some URLs of all these.
Yeah, I'll get a
forms?
list of some URLs put together, and then we can have that put up on the Cocoaheads website.
Great.
And that's pretty much it. Nothing super fancy, but
All right, let's give him a hand. Good job.
it's
Excellent.
getting there.
Excellent.